I want to try to make my very first sweater self-made. So that I plan, that I create, I do everything about it. Hey guys, long time no see, but it's me, Lisa, and I'm coming at you with another video. I am so excited because in this video we'll do something that I've never done before, and it's a bit of a challenge, or more than a bit probably, but I want to try to make my very first sweater self-made. So that I plan, that I create, I do everything about it. And so this is a bit of a very scary moment, but I'm really inspired and I really want to do it. So without any further ado, let's get into the process. So I have been spammed with Milanote references and people using Milanote, and I do see another crocheter here on YouTube. She uses Milanote to plan so many of the sweaters and projects that she creates. She's very good, so nothing like I am. She is very used to planning projects and creating projects, so I'm very confident that she knows what she's doing. So I did create this Milanote board, and it's very cute because it has everything that I want from my project, and I want to quickly run it through with you, explain it, and show you what I want to do. What we will end up doing will be using all of the yarn that I've collected to actually make this project, and I cannot wait. So in the beginning part of the Milanote board, you will have seen the initial designing, sketching, brainy part. So I measured myself over several times. I put down the centimeters that everything needs to be. I measured it in inches and centimeters, doesn't change much to me. And so I decided that that is going to be a made to measure piece because I really want it to fit me. And what I want to do with all of this yarn is just simply find a model that I want to make, create a chain, and just figure out the number of chains that I need to make by just making it. Why? Because the yarn that I wanted to be using was this one. You will have probably seen it if you've seen my Norway yarn unboxing or simply the show off of the Norway yarn. This is the one. It's from Viking of Norway. It's very cute. This is the first wave of color that I got. This one is 970, and I tried to start creating something and you can see how small this is, so that's why I'm very scared. And then there is this one, 937, and this one, which is number 927, and it's also very gorgeous. With these colors, I wanted to create a tapestry because I've recently created my first tapestry with some pot holders, and I fell in love. So I wanted to create a tapestry, and in my Milanote project, I organized it, and I put down the two tapestries that I want to make, one for the front, one for the back. And one of them is going to have more purplish colors in it, so it's going to be using this colorway, and the other one is going to be more bluish, so it's going to be using this one. But I'm also going to interlink the twos, especially if I need a shinier or lighter color. That is going to be for the image. And then I got this wonderful yarn that is so soft, that is wool, silk, and cashmere, so it's super soft. It's all made in Italy and it's very nice. And I thought to get this navy, it's color number 14, it doesn't really have a name, and I got 4 balls of this one.
Here I must say that I actually had to get 4 more because the project changed so much from the conception to the actual making.
And I hope they're all the same dialogue. I think they are 777 and 7. It gives me Monica flashback.
7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7.
I'm not talking about that 7. I'm talking about a dialogue 7. And this one is going to be the one that is going to mainly be used for the color blocky situation. So I was thinking about making the sleeves with this one and about maybe making the band, the lower band that I want to have for it to cinch in with the body. So this is my general idea. In the Milanote project plan, I have put 2 TCD DIY designs that I am very inspired by, and maybe I'm gonna use the sleeves from one of the 2 to actually make on my own piece. But for the overall piece, I think that I'm just gonna start it with the tapestry underneath, and that is gonna be cute because the tapestry is, I think, 67 long, the big tapestry that I want to make, so it's going to be quite nice. And then the band is going to be underneath, and it's going to be a block band that is going to also add length to the whole structure. So you can tell that I've never done this before because I'm very overwhelmed. I've never created anything before like that, but we are gonna get into it, try it, and first thing that I want to do is make the first chain and see how long the piece is gonna be in terms of chains for the front part. And I think that we're gonna start with that, and that is gonna help us to understand how tall we want the piece to be, because if I can, I would like to make it cropped, which would A, take away some work from me, and B, I think it looks extremely cute, so that is going to be something. So let's get down to it. So basically what I did yesterday was a made to measure pattern. I measured it from both sides of my shoulders. I think that a very sleek shoulder down moment will be cool, so I'm very happy with this. But the problem was that because it's so small, it's blue, it's very hard to keep track of these. I struggle to keep the counts straight, so I started with an amount and ended up with a different amount. So what I want to do now is try to get a head start on another one of my blue skeins.
So I brought my thing with me.
So here it is, the second one, and I have encountered a pattern that had a base chain that was a foundation chain and was made with double crochets directly. So I think I'm gonna try restarting the project over on this side with this skein and see if I end up making a consistent base chain with double crochets. I've never done it before, so it might be a tad challenging, but I think that it's gonna be worth it because if I make it straight, I think it's really gonna be good. The only thing that I'm struggling a little bit with this project is to figure out how tall I want it to be and how many rows I will need to make. So that is going to be something that I will need to figure out, and that is important to know beforehand because, as you know, we're going to make the tapestry at the center, but at least I want one straight blue line that is going to tell me how many chains and how many stitches I need in a row to cover the body. That's what I will do, and we'll see each other when I'm finished with the base chain. I have a little update for you because plans have drastically changed in regards to the sweater. So I found one of these models that I did prefer over the other one because unfortunately the balloon sweater model that I wanted to recreate and adapt was crocheted with a particular stitch, and I have nothing against that particular stitch, but the problem was that I am not familiar with it and I don't know how big it is in comparison to the single stitch, so I was unable to figure out how to make the graph fit. So I decided to go with another model. It's from Yeah, I think it's how you pronounce the creator's name, and it's on YouTube. And with that model, I think it will be easier to make the graph fit and make everything look good. So currently I am crocheting the shoulder band. You hear stuff because here he is. This cutie is here and distracting everyone. But okay, let's go back to the explanation. It's supposed to stretch all the way around. So I am currently crocheting 35 stitches across, and it's in double crochets. So I'm crocheting 35 double crochets in this direction, and I am not even counting how many rows I am making, because in the original pattern it says 90. In my pattern I think that it might be a little more, so I'm not 100% sure about that, but we'll see. And so I am just going to wing that, and that change of plan means that I'm not sure that at this point I will have enough yarn to cover the whole sweater, because the plan changed from making only the sleeves to making the collar band and making the sleeves, and then also I want to crochet one of the two tapestries instead of with black, with this dark blue as the color of the building. So the sky is going to be purple, but the buildings will be blue. So there will be more blue than previously I prepared for. This is what I still have of the first skein that I'm using to create the band. So we'll see about that, but this is my update, and we'll see together once the band is made and I can give you more specific instructions on how to recreate it. One beautiful thing is that, let's try not to unravel it. It's very sheer and it's incredibly soft because the material is great, but it's also not super duper heavy, so it's a lot lighter than what an acrylic yarn would have made. So I think that it's going to be a very versatile sweater to be able to put in a middle season to colder season, because you can layer something underneath or over and make it more cold proof. So let's crochet everything and we'll meet back again once I have the band. Little update time. So this is the first skein gone. I am so glad that this came out as it did. It's very cute and you can see the project coming together. This is the collar band and it's gonna have a back panel that is gonna be the same basically. For this one I used up a whole ball of yarn, and so the second ball of yarn hopefully will make up the back, but maybe I'm gonna need two and a little bit to just close it up. And I also now want to go on with the rest of the panel. So this one I started long, and because unraveling this one is quite difficult, I want to check the tutorial once again and see how long it should have been, because this time it needs to basically cover the front like that. I think it should start from around here, something like that, and this one will be above. So this one will be the band that is going to go over the shoulders, and then from underneath it I'm feeling that we should start the other panel and go down. Obviously I'm starting it bottom up, so it will be at the waist, but I'm gonna check out the tutorial once again, see what I need to do, and it's gonna be the moment when we start the tapestries. This tapestry specifically, if I start with the front, but I'm probably gonna start with the back just for a bit more of a test run, and also because it's easier. So if I start with the back, I am going to be using this color as the sky color. This one, I think it has a beautiful sky vibe, and it's a bit more hairy than the yarn that I'm currently using because it's wool, but it's the same thickness, and so I'm going to be using this one as the sky color, which I'm so excited about. And this is going to be easier than the front panel because the front panel is going to be at least a 3 color change, because I'm going to be using the blue as the backgrounds and sides, and I'm going to be using the purple for the cat and the green for accents. So we're going to be using all of the colors, and I think there is also some blue in there, so I'm going to be using a lot of these. So overall, let's start with the back. That's a decision made, and I'm going to start with that. And another thing I'm a bit doubtful about is that making the double crochets, the size is not that bad. I think that it's not as small as I would have expected it to be. It's nice. But because the rest of the panel, because it's a tapestry, is going to be constructed in single crochets, so I'm not 100% sure how tall I want the overall thing to be. So I think I'm gonna do this one as a base chain, 1 row of double crochets to set the foundation chain, and then we are immediately gonna start with a cat tapestry. This one is the cat tapestry. Oh, you can see it pretty well, which is nice. I need to make some kind of calculations to an approximation of how big it's gonna need to be, because I really don't have a reference to the height of the overall panel. It needs to be over 60 squares, because the 60 squares is how big the cat is gonna be. So it's gonna be 60 squares minimum for the cat. Across, it's gonna be 65 minimum, which is the width of this tapestry. And what I have so far counted probably shitfully, because I cannot count. I'm so sorry, I cannot count. But it's probably going to be horribly inaccurate. But these are 90 from what I can recall. So I'm going to do some math and try to fit this one in the center. And we're going to start with that panel. And I'm going to show you my progress as we go along. I know that as tapestry and project organization, it might sound a bit confusing, but this is because it is a confusing process. I think that especially for someone that has never done it before, it's a little difficult to get the hang of it immediately, but I'm very excited of what we are doing so far. So don't lose hope. It's going to be clear in the end. And I say this to you and I say this to myself. Let's get crocheting. As promised, here I am with the updates. I have finished the collar part and it came out amazing. So here it is. I will also put it on to show you, and I have added a button to the front center. Here it is. This is the top part of the sweater with the golden button in the center. I think it's extremely cute and I really love it, and I can show you the progression that I made and everything that I started doing in the middle part. So I had hinted to you and explained that I wanted to create the cat in the center. What I have done so far is this little bit. You can see kind of, this is the paw, and you cannot really picture it right now, but I have a very little bit. And how I am creating it so far is I have a 3 skeins change of color, which is quite challenging. I've never done it with 3, but it's a learning curve. I'll try to do it. And I've decided to use this color as the background. The only thing with the wool is that it's really full of little hairs, so it attaches itself to each other a lot. But I'm trying to make it work. So far it's working quite well. So I'm quite satisfied with that. And yes, this is what I have so far. I'll show you as we go along. I ended up doing 95 across, and this is basically the bottom part. You can see it. It fits me right well. I want to do the figure from down up because I'm afraid that if I'll get all the way up, it will be covered up by this section. So I started doing it lower than the middle because I feel that this part is going to cover it up. And as you see, it's quite changed from the initial what I wanted to do, but it doesn't really matter. I think that it's a learning curve and it will be there in the end. And so here we'll have the beautiful purple and blue cat that goes up. So this is what I have so far. I'm also wanting to mention that I will probably create not really a pattern, but a guide for you to be able to create this pattern as well if you want to make it. And I'm not going to create a pattern for the simple fact that I didn't create the tapestry. So the tapestry is free, and I will create the guide to just show you how this is going to be able to be made. I think that I will make it maybe £1 to £2, very cheap, for you to be able to follow. and that will be how I will approach this. I'm gonna take this one off because it's quite hot. I love the project so far. So far I have used up 2 skeins of this yarn. So this one is 2 skeins of the blue. Last thing that I want to mention is how I'm making this, because instead of making it single crochets, I'm making the colored part half double crochet, because I'm sticking to the double crochet for the blue part, and I didn't want to make this one too small because I think it's going to shrink the project. So I'm making it half double crochet to shrink it as little as possible and create a concentration of color, which is happening so far, so I'm quite glad. So overall, you can see this is the method, but everything will be explained in my guide, and I can't wait to go on and show you everything I made. Confused? Well, me too. Just a little, but there is more to come. I have made some progress, figured some things out, and so for next episode of this series, it will be a lot better. I have to admit, I've not progressed a ton, but every little step is a good thing into the progression of this progression of this project, which is very, very scary, time consuming, and other stuff has come up, but I cannot wait to get more into it.